Magazine bans are collapsing. New Jersey's next. New Jersey bans you from owning magazines over 10 rounds, but a recent case out of Washington, D.C. just collided head-on with the Supreme Court's Bruen decision, and it could push New Jersey's magazine ban to the edge of collapse. That's what we're going to talk about today, folks. Let's get started. When the Supreme Court ruled in NYSERPA versus Bruen, it laid down a new standard. If the Second Amendment covers something in common use for lawful purposes, the government cannot ban it unless they provide a strong historical tradition of that exact type of restriction. So the question becomes, are magazines over 10 rounds in common use? The answer is obvious, yes. Tens of millions of law-abiding Americans own them. And that's why the government is now losing case after case when it comes to these so-called large capacity magazine bans. Let's break down what just happened in D.C. In November of 2022, Tyree Benson was indicted on several charges: carrying a pistol without a license, possession of an unregistered firearm, unlawful possession of ammunition, and possession of a so-called large capacity magazine. In April of 2023, after a bench trial, he was convicted on all counts. He appealed, arguing that the magazine ban and the law violated his Second Amendment rights. Initially, under the Biden administration, the Department of Justice defended the ban in court, saying he should be convicted and his conviction should be sustained or upheld by the District of Columbia Court of Appeals. But because the Court of Appeals has not yet decided on his appeal, that gave U.S. Attorney for District of Columbia, Jeanine Pirro, the opportunity to consider or provide her opinion on the case. She filed a request with the court to dismiss the conviction. In summary, she says it's the United States position that the law, the one that Tyree Benson was convicted under, is unconstitutional. As a result, the U.S. is not prosecuting violations of that statute current day and believes that, in the interest of justice, his conviction should be vacated. Of course, this is happening under the current Trump administration, which is pro-2A. Remember, NYSERPA versus Bruen was decided June of 2022. Although many states like New York, New Jersey, Maryland, California, Illinois, etc. continue to pass laws or charge individuals with statutes that go against NYSERPA versus Bruen ruling, it seems like the current DOJ or administration is trying to fix these major issues. What's important to note here, folks, is that this is not some gun rights attorney saying it. This is the U.S. government admitting it. They're saying these laws don't survive Bruen. Think about how big that is. By the way, if you're new here, I'm Steve Mazzagatti, retired New Jersey State Trooper, former paramedic, firearms instructor, and author of the international bestseller Defend Confidently. On this channel, I break down Second Amendment cases, gun laws, and personal safety strategies so you can stay compliant, informed, and confident. And Benson's case is not happening in a vacuum. Across the country, the federal courts are weighing these bans. California's Duncan case, Judge Roger Benitez struck down California's 10-round magazine limit, saying it violated the Second Amendment because these are standard, commonly owned magazines. That case is bouncing back and forth on appeal, but the reasoning is clear: common use means protected. Illinois' Barnett case challenges Illinois' sweeping assault weapon and magazine bans. The Seventh Circuit is hearing it now, and the plaintiffs are directly invoking Bruen's test. Maryland's Bianchi case, already flagged by the Supreme Court as one to watch. It's about Maryland's so-called assault weapons ban, but it ties directly into the magazines since those rifles are designed to use standard capacity mags. These cases are converging on the same core question: can a state criminalize what tens of millions of Americans legally own and use for self-defense? Remember, in the District of Columbia versus Heller 2008 case, the Supreme Court said you cannot ban an entire class of firearms that are commonly chosen by law-abiding citizens. D.C. had banned handguns. The court struck it down. Now think about magazines. Banning every magazine over 10 rounds effectively bans every firearm designed to use them, which is most modern semi-automatic handguns and rifles. That's the exact same logic as Heller. And under Bruen, the government has to prove there's a historical tradition of banning ammunition feeding devices. There isn't. The founders knew of repeating firearms, like the Girondoni air rifle, capable of 20+ rounds, and no such bans existed. The government simply cannot meet that burden. This is why New Jersey should be paying close attention. Over 700 million magazines holding more than 10 rounds are in circulation across the United States. They are standard, not unusual. They're used every day for training, competition, and self-defense. When New Jersey criminalizes them, it's not targeting the fringe, it's criminalizing what is normal across America. And with the DOJ itself backing away from prosecuting these laws, it's only a matter of time before the courts here have to confront the same reality. And here's the truth, folks. Criminals don't care about magazine limits. They'll ignore the law, carry them anyway, they'll carry extra magazines, or they'll just bring multiple weapons. But the single mother defending her kids in a home invasion, she's the one capped out at 10 rounds. The small business owner facing multiple attackers in his place of business or his walk to the car, he's the one handicapped. Magazine limits don't restrain evil. They only handicap the good guys. So where does this leave us? In Washington, D.C., the DOJ has admitted magazine bans violate the Second Amendment. In California, Illinois, and Maryland, courts are actively weighing whether these laws can stand under Bruen. And in New Jersey, the writing is on the wall. If you'd like more information on my book or online course that we offer, I'll put a link in the description. The book is available on Amazon. Don't forget to check out our other channel, Defend Confidently, for personal practical self-defense you can use today. We talk about situational awareness, concealed carry fundamentals, drills, family and workplace safety, and real-world scenarios. Stay alert, stay informed, and don't let politicians convince you that disarming law-abiding citizens makes us safer. It doesn't. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.